So here is where it all culminates. 5 movies building up our main protagonists, and finally one big, brash, loud event meant to bring them all together onto the big screen. This was never meant to be a movie about big, emotional character arcs and slow, subtle moments, so I'm definitely not going to judge it as that. I actually don't think there's much to say on this movie that many people haven't already said. So I'm just going to go over some positives and negatives that I noticed whilst watching. Now, the dialogue isn't all bad, but it's ruined by Joss Whedon's quippy nonsense every other line. He really isn't as funny as he thinks he is. This film is at its best when the characters are fighting rather than talking. Fortunately, there is a lot of fighting. The dialogue is definitely one of the weaker aspects of the film. It's serviceable, but that's all. I don't expect much subtlety from a movie about a Norse god, a rage monster, and a 90-year-old super soldier duking it out for 2 hours, but I do expect a little more than this. Strike 2 for Joss Whedon is in the film's direction and lighting. Now, I know that this was his first directorial debut in the film world. Everything before this was TV shows, but you'd have thought that somebody would have told him that things aren't done the same way between film and TV. The lighting is really flat. It's like someone just put up a bunch of lights and lit everything really evenly, no matter what scene he was filming. This is especially noticeable in the helicarrier moments. Just gentle soft lighting on absolutely everybody. Blech. And the second thing is in the direction. Not in the action scenes, as I'd imagine a lot of that was directed by Greg Hale as second unit director. Now, I'm talking about the scenes where they're just standing around and talking. Just like the lighting, there's nothing exciting or intentional about the way these scenes are shot. Just mid-shots on very slow dollies as the actors are talking. It's very boring. It's a very efficient way of shooting and lighting. It's simple direction and repeatable camera moves. You could tell why something like that would be used in TV production when you have a very tight schedule to work with. However, it does not fit with a dramatic, epic superhero blockbuster. I'd take Branagh's Dutch angles over this any day. And to be fair to Whedon, he does learn to utilise these elements a lot better when it comes to Age of Ultron, but judging by this movie alone, it's a disappointing directorial debut. Now, I told you this was going to be short. Everything else in this movie did everything that it was meant to be. There are a few moments where the effects show their age, but overall the VFX and CGI have held up really well. At least the flat lighting probably makes it easier to blend some of those elements together, so it's got that going for it. And in conjunction with the effects, the action is all done really well. Each of the action scenes feel very distinctive, and all of the heroes play off each other really well. It was a great idea to pair each of them off in the helicarrier scene to then bring them back together under Cap's leadership in the smashy finale. And the plot, although basic, creates plenty of space for interesting character interactions and dynamics. And although I have my issues with the dialogue, the script itself never makes the characters feel out of place. I like how much effort they spent in making it believable that these characters all ended up together at this point in time. Loki is a good villain for this story. It's basically a straight-up continuation of where we left him after Thor, and his characterisation remains pretty consistent, which I appreciated. His plan was a little bit convoluted for my liking, and they did the whole the villain wants to get captured by the hero so that he can escape later plot from The Dark Knight. But hey, at least the scriptwriters explained that Loki would do something like this due to his hubris and unstable, needy nature. So that was pretty good. And yes, we get a smashy explosion finale with a blue sky beam. But however, this is absolutely the best execution of a smashy explosion skybeam finale that we've had so far. So, nothing wrong with that, I think. Overall, it's just a fun time. It's everything anyone has already said it is. It's a rollercoaster ride rather than a movie, but it's still a cinematic achievement that a company on the brink of bankruptcy could pull together their B-tier characters and create a beloved spectacle like this. Not to mention that they managed to reach $1 billion movie in only 5 years of producing these things. The Avengers, for better or worse, set the bar for superhero movies for the next decade and beyond. Now, not every movie should be like the Avengers, but for what it was trying to be, it was a resounding success. 8 out of 10. A near perfect spectacle if you need to turn your brain off for a couple of hours.